What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to a very special episode of the Waterboy Podcast. Today, it is episode number 50. It is episode 50, Everett.
It's the big 5-0.
50, 5-0, Hawaii 5-0, 50.
We should be having our mid-podcast crisis pretty soon.
Yeah. Yeah, you can give us the midway podcast review. Give us the update. What do you guys think about us? We got 50 hours.
We are like the second best podcast on Spotify behind Joe Rogan.
Yeah, behind Joe Rogan and Caller Daddy, the only two podcasts. We're actually tied with Caller Daddy right now, but
we're fighting.
We're up there. We're big. We put our money where our mouth is. We put in that work. We do the effort. That's what I tell myself when I go to sleep. But there's a lot on the menu today. NFL, way too much went on. Both of Everett and my teams took some L's last week.
Yeah, that's a nice way to put it.
Didn't go to plan. I literally last week I knew the second you said it's gonna be great when both of our teams win. And I'm like, you just jinxed it. You just jinxed it right fucking there. And what ended up happening? Both of our teams lost. But we'll save the NFL for later. Let's get into college football. Take my mind off of that temporarily to the positives going on in me and Everett's fandom right now. So you know what, Everett, we'll let you kick it off, Mr. Tulane boy. Roll wave.
We play Southern Miss this weekend at home. Our first game since beating K-State in Manhattan, Kansas, in a over max capacity stadium. By the way, they had 880 people in standing room there. When we beat them. So just saying, but roll the fucking wave, roll fucking wave. Everybody, I mean, this podcast comes out on Thursday. I'm sure that the everybody who's listening to this, because we're the second biggest podcast on Spotify, everybody will be listening to this.
Yeah, everybody's aware.
Phil Yulman, I know. We want to fill it, get all of the fans there. It is. I legally cannot drink yet, but it is $3 beers at Tulane Stadium. So
that's dangerous.
$10 tickets, $3 beers, $6.
You do the math.
$6 for premium beers. Plus, you can get food there. It's $8 for parking. I mean, all in all, that's pretty cheap, man. Just saying. But we're playing Southern Miss. Old rivalry. Our old OC, the one before last year, is the head coach currently for Southern Miss. Coming back to play in Tulane after the last time we played them, I believe was for the Bell, and we won. So
was that with like Nick Mullins at Q or something?
I don't know. Nick Mullins was like 6 years or 5 years ago, something like that.
This was the last time they played.
This was like 4 years ago. I think it was a bowl game.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, big look. Every game is a new game. Obviously, right now, Tulane, we're favored to win this game, but by no means am I going to sit here and say like we should play as if we're favored. We should just play in general, like play to play, come to play. Like we want to be the dogs. We want to have that chip on our shoulder. Keep that for the entire year. Look, you know what we're playing for here? We're playing for a chance to go to a bowl game after last season going 2-10, having our dreams shattered. We're playing to go to a New York 6 bowl game. That's something that we haven't done in a really long time. That's what we're playing for. And that's what I hope all of us, especially everybody, all the players on Tulane, everybody who goes to Tulane right now is keeping focus on, because that's the end goal. In order to do that, we have to keep fixated on that, keep the chip on our shoulder and keep playing. We're playing for last year's record. We're playing.
Already have a better record this season than last
Doesn't
year.
matter.
It is September 20th.
Doesn't matter. We're taking revenge for last season.
Which is, and I mean that in an inspiring way.
But look, I want everybody. I want everybody to keep that in mind. I don't like, as a Vikings fan, and this is why I always am very like stingy about saying like it's a confirmed win or anything like that. Like we will fucking win, because as a Vikings fan, after 2017 against the Eagles, and I was like, we're gonna walk in there and beat the shit out of the Eagles, and then having my soul crushed. I never like to do that because coming off of a ecstatic win like that off of the Saints going into the next week, sometimes you just don't plan well, and you just kind of try and ride that high. You just don't really fixate on the next week, and it's just poor planning. And I know we're not doing that, but because I'm a Vikings fan, like that's just my internal reaction. We're gonna get through Southern Miss, start conference playoff on the right foot, and beat Houston. We're going to continue that streak. The one thing that I do want to say, though, is the media absolutely fucking disrespects Tulane. Like it's absurd. I know.
But don't you want them to be disrespected? Like what I like. There's
the thing.
when it comes to the Dodgers, I like my players being disrespected.
No, I like the chip. I like the chip because like keep disrespecting us and you'll see what the fuck we'll do. But the thing is like, yeah, look, there's an article in Sports Illustrated has us projected playing the Cotton Bowl versus Penn State. There's an article on ESPN says if they keep playing well, they'll make it to a New Year's Six Bowl.
That doesn't sound like disrespect to me.
No, but here's where the disrespect comes in. Here's where the disrespect comes in.
Tune-up game for Kansas State.
Tune-up game for Kansas State. They have in the standings on several sources, they have both ECU and Cincinnati ranked ahead Tulane in the American Conference. Cincinnati has done nothing this season. The only team that they've played that's ranked, they lost to. ECU, they're 2-1 on the season.
ECU, I don't understand at all.
They played NC State week 1 of the season. NC State was ranked 13th. They lost by 1 point at home. It's still a loss. It doesn't matter what. Tulane, we learned that last year. We almost came back, beat Oklahoma, number 2 team in the nation. Clearly didn't do anything for our standings, for helping us. So
yeah, in my opinion, winning games should matter.
Tulane is currently as of recording this podcast on Tuesday, September 20th. We are one of 3 teams outside the Power 5 to be undefeated. One of them doesn't even qualify because it's James Madison and they're relocating to FBS, right? So they don't even qualify for a bowl game. So it's Coastal Carolina and Tulane. That's it. So I mean, just it's just.
I'll be honest. I think yes, going into the season, especially before that Kansas State game, the Tulane disrespect was a little absurd in my opinion. I'm no betting man, but Tulane plus 14 last week was a lock and a half. But regardless, I personally have been very pleased, and I've honestly been very happy that a lot of reports, writers, like projections have come out putting Tulane in New Year's Six bowl games. I'll be honest, I kind of thought they'd continue disrespecting them and be like, oh yeah, they're 3-0 now. Like we still expect them to finish 6-6, some stupid shit. Like I kind of still expected them to say that.
Don't get me wrong.
But they didn't. I'll be honest.
Don't get me wrong. Look, I obviously it makes me happy to see those predictions, and I'm not going to say that it doesn't because I would be an idiot if I'd said that.
It's always a good thing.
It's always a good thing.
Always a great thing.
But here's the thing is one, I want to remind everybody that no matter what the predictions say or whatever the projections are, every week is a new week. Every game is a new game. We're playing to continue to have those predictions because I know that the moment if Tulane loses, if they lose, the media immediately are going to go from
flip the tide on them. Yeah.
Immediately go from New Year's Six Bowl to one of the crappiest bowls that an American Conference team can get.
I just think though, they got Southern Miss this week. Southern Miss is 1-2, coming on the road up at Tulane. Vegas has this at a 13-point game spread.
And that's what I say is disrespectful.
Fuck that line. Let's make it 33. I think Tulane's actually going to bludgeon them, okay? Last week, only 17 points, but it was against Kansas State. I'm going on, mark my words, 50 burger for episode 50 of the Waterboy podcast. Tulane's putting up a 50 burger this weekend, for episode 50 of the Waterboy podcast. Mark my words. It's happening. Michael Pratt, my boy, sincere on the line. Good luck stopping the run, baby. It's over. It's over. Done. 50 burger this weekend. Tulane team total over. Hammer it.
Yeah, no, but that's also that's also what I say is disrespectful is after coming in, beating a top Big 12 team, right? Still being 3-0, coming in, playing Southern Miss at home and only being favored by 13 points, which was the same amount, by the way.
Hey, I'll be honest, take the double digits.
I mean, I'll take it, but
it's a compliment.
But still,
take that.
It's just
Vegas,
something.
The thing is, like, who knows? Maybe
something
Vegas
about that
right
just kind of
now
the wrong way.
Is messing with people, and the game opened at 11.5. It's now 13, so it's moved more in favor towards Tulane. So,
yeah, well,
the public loves Tulane minus 11.5. They ate that shit up. Now 13. So
like I said, I just want to keep reminding people that no matter what, no matter if it's the easiest team in the conference, no matter if it's Oklahoma, if it's Alabama, I don't care. Every single week is a new week. Week in, week out, you're putting the same amount of effort in. You're playing the same amount of toughness, the same amount of hardness. Doesn't matter. I don't care if it's UMass. I don't care if it's Alabama. You're playing the same amount of effort that you put in the same amount of effort week in, week out. Let's make it to the New Year's Six Bowl.
I agree, Everett. You got to take it 1 week at a time. Now you're a little more directly affiliated with the team, so you're taking it more 1 week at a time. I'm not, though, so I'm not taking it 1 week at a time. Week 5, Houston. Tulane versus Houston, okay? Tulane is going into Houston week 5, and they're about to beat the fucking brakes off the Cougars, all right, okay? We all saw the footage of the Houston players beefing on the sidelines, fighting each other. Clearly, there is some what's the term? Locker room issues in that program. Clearly, there is some problems going on in that locker room. Clearly, they do not have that team under control. I guarantee, because Houston has the name brand value, they have the history in the AAC, I wouldn't be surprised if they were double-digit favorites against Tulane. And I can't wait. I'm no betting man, and I can't even bet. But if I was, Tulane money line. Sprinkle it, boys. Sprinkle it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But, okay. I think we talked plenty about Tulane.
One other thing, by the way. One other thing.
Okay, never mind.
Just got announced literally an hour and a half ago. Tulane will be playing Ole Miss again next year in NOLA.
That'll be
revenge game.
Dart starting in that game.
Revenge game.
Most likely.
Revenge game.
Dart hasn't been looking great. I love to see that. But okay, I think we've spent plenty of time on Tulane football, Everett. I'm getting ready to get into the NFL here soon, pretty quick. But okay, one last thing I want to say about college football. I'm gonna make it nice and quick. Wisconsin at Ohio State this week. After last week, what I just saw, a little bit of a breakout from the offense. I'm very pleased with how this season has gone off on offense and defense. If you were going to tell me preseason, I'd be more concerned about the offense than the defense. After week 2, I would have been like, okay, this is going to be a good season. And I am more concerned. Well, after last week, I'm not really concerned at all. All my questions kind of got answered last week, other than injury concerns. Trevion Henderson went out. Jackson Smith-Njigba, I think, has played 12 plays this year. He has been hurt the whole season. But he should be good next week. But even if he isn't, I'm still confident in this team. Like, that's how good Ohio State's passing options are. The one player I want to say, of course, Marvin Harrison has done a tremendous job this year, but Emeka Egbuka, he has been a tremendous second option with JSN out this year. And
JSN is out?
He's been hurt. He's barely played this year. Okay. He's played I think he has 3 catches this year. And he's played 15 snaps. He's barely played. But the reason why I think JSN actually being hurt the first couple of games will help this team in the long run is that getting a Mecca Egbuka comfortable in this offense, getting him a role on the team, making him, I guess, have a role on the team, show his worth, get him bought into the team and everything. I think obviously JSN is our best player on offense. I don't want him hurt, but this might be a very good thing long term, getting Emeka Egbuka these early season targets, reps, all this love. So long term, like JSN, I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure if he'll be healthy next week. Like, let's get him 100% healthy. Like, if we want to win a natty, JSN needs to be on the field.
Yeah.
But if we want to get through the first 7-8 weeks of the season, he doesn't need to be. I'm going to be honest. And like, sure, call me a cocky Ohio State fan, but Marvin Harrison's better than any of your fucking bum ass wide receivers in any of your schools. So Marvin Harrison's the second best wide receiver in college football. Don't at me, behind JSN. So, I mean, Ohio State has these weapons right now, which I've never seen in my life. Like, I've never seen an offense like this ever at Ohio State. Like, I saw Braxton Miller doing stupid shit every week. But yeah, I think Ohio State, they're 18-point favorites against Wisconsin. I would not be surprised if this was like Michigan State last year and they win this game 56-7, and they just make a statement to the world like, hey, Ohio's fucking here. And I think it's a little tough. Like, I'll be honest, I hate making this excuse, but I see this on Ohio State. Like, if they're not playing a team that they care about, like, they don't show up. And like they did last week, which kind of surprised me. But like the week before, they didn't really show up. Arkansas State, like, they didn't really come to play. And like, I think Wisconsin early season, they'll be like, hey, we're about to smack their ass. When we play Illinois the week after, probably bet on Illinois to cover. But you get what I mean. You get what I mean. Like they are very up and down. Like, they got to get up for games. That's like one of my big knocks that I've noticed on Ohio State. Like, or at least it was more so under Urban. If maybe clinging on to games, which they should be winning by 40. But okay, that's all I had.
One last thing, by the way. One last thing. Roll fucking wave. Let's beat the brakes off of every fucking team the rest of the season. Let's go.
I'm gonna be on. I'm just saying, like, obviously, like, I'm focused. I'm locked in on that Houston game.
Beat the fucking brakes off of every other team.
Locked in. Do you guys have Cincy on the schedule this year?
Last game of the season at Cincy, Thanksgiving weekend.
Do you guys have divisions in the AAC, or is it just one big comp? Okay.
One.
Okay. All right. I think that's gonna do it for college football, though.
We'll fucking
ready.
Let's
ready to get into the NFL?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you want. Oh, you know what we have to start with. Well, okay, Everett. Before we get into the picks and anything, it's fresh, it's clean, and I'll be honest. I remember yesterday, before the game, I texted you. I go, hey, Vikings win tonight. Can we do a post-game quick reaction? And you're like, I don't know, man. Like, it might be late for me. I'm like, come on, you'll be so up for it. Yeah. So there was never going to be
no post-game reaction.
After about 5 minutes in the game, I had a feeling like, wait a second.
There, in fact, was no post-game reaction. It was post-game depression.
So I told, before the game started, my roommate's not the biggest football fan. He's a big baseball guy. And I'm kind of telling him what I'm thinking about how this game might go. And I told him, I said, if either of these teams don't score a touchdown within the first 2 possessions, it might be a blowout. And I told him that, and he was like, why do you think that? I go, these offenses move, and they move quick. And when the Vikings didn't score a touchdown on their opening drive, I was like, this might get out of hand fast. I literally thought that right away. Like, this is arguably a must-stop drive for the Vikings on the Eagles' second drive of the game. I was like, you arguably need to hold them to a field goal here or the game's over. I thought that in my head.
All right.
And like, as a Chargers fan, I thought a lead would be safe, but then we played Patrick Mahomes.
So here's the deal. Do you want the censored version of my reaction, or you just want me to to do what I.
We're gonna keep it. Let's keep it relatively censored. Let's keep it a little more relaxed. Okay, Everett. This is what I'm gonna say. Okay, one thing that I'll be honest. I thought the defense and special teams played good enough to win that game. Like the
I
defense.
with that. I don't.
Now you're gonna have some different opinions on the secondary, but I think going up against a team like the Eagles there.
Let me explain.
Was it 3 red zone picks?
For Kirk Cousins, yeah, but let me explain real quick. All right, let me explain what's going on. So,
who's number 3 also?
Cam Dantzler Sr. now.
Number 3. That dude's a ball player.
So
that dude is a ball player.
Let me explain what the sitch is. So the Vikings did not allow the Eagles to score in the entire second half. Props to them for that. However, the Eagles did also take their gas off their foot off the gas a little bit. Okay. So I'll still give the Vikings props, their defense props for shutting them out in the second half. Here's the problem. The first half, actually take one step back. Week 1 against the Packers, the only thing that they played really was shell coverage, which essentially is a deep, it's you're playing far off the receiver. You're about 5-10 yards back off the receiver, and you're basically playing zone. That's what you're doing. So that got absolutely abused because unlike the Packers, the Eagles do actually have wide receivers, and somehow they actually have hands this year, surprisingly, because the Vikings tight end and running back did not. So playing shell coverage really allowed them to just dink and dive underneath, and because of that, you have the linebackers trying to cover the receivers because the receivers are getting touches here and there, like they're getting receptions basically up and down the field. So that lets just Jalen Hurts run straight up the middle. There's nothing you can do about it. Miles Sanders does the same thing. And it doesn't help that Jordan Hicks, the entire first half, was basically non-existent. Cam Bynum absolutely sucked ass last game. Number 24, safety. Why the hell we didn't fucking play Lewis Cine? He had one snap.
Why aren't they playing it?
He had one snap, and it's when Harrison Smith went out with the concussion, and then Josh Metellus played the rest of the game instead of him. Like, I don't understand that.
But I mean, him and Harrison Smith, they're different positions. Like,
Lewis Cine's supposed to play free safety, but he can play strong safety. Cam Bynum plays free safety. The thing is, basically in that situation, you're depth, so he should be playing. Like, you're down essentially 3 scores. Should be playing.
But I mean, like, the secondary is like the worst part of that.
Yeah. So here's the thing.
Like, why would you not start
the secondary? The secondary is very problematic. I give props to Cam Dantzler for making a lot of tackles. He made a lot of good tackles. He did also let up receptions, but I don't necessarily fault him for that. I fault more the coverage system than him.
Like, I'll be honest. If you're I'm just thinking, just how the Eagles' offense kind of runs. It just makes no sense to be sitting back.
That's what, and the thing is, they never
Jalen Hurts doesn't
it out. They really never shifted off of that. And here's my
sounds like a case of Ohio State defense for the past 2 years.
Patrick Peterson, I'm sorry, made a great block, by the way, in the game. I'll give him that. I'll give him that. But I'm sorry, dude. He's not a number 1 corner in the NFL. He is not a number 1 corner in the NFL. He should not be the number 1. He also shouldn't be the 2. He should be the slot corner. That's what he should be playing. It's slot. That he shouldn't be doing anything else. That's what he should be doing, is doing slot. Put Cam Dantzler at 1. When Andrew Booth gets healthy, put him at 2. We should trade for a corner by the deadline. That's what I think that we should do. Now, on top of all of that, all right, obviously the defense got problems, and it's kind of problematic, especially since we're playing DeAndre Swift next week, and the secondary is kind of buns. We're playing Amon-Ra. Little problematic, all right? So hopefully that will get
Raw over receiving prop hammer.
The defense really needs to figure it out. Now, the other side of the ball, offensive side, Kirk Cousins, yes, and he played terribly. I won't excuse. He played terribly. But
yeah, he did.
But
let me pull up my tweets from that game. Actually, keep going. Let me just give you some of my reactions from that
the
game.
only thing that I will say in his defense, and it took me literally like having to read multiple tweets about this to actually like get it through my head. Vikings are playing down. Vikings players are not making the plays they normally do. Kirk Cousins is more apt to force balls in the places that he normally would not. That's the only defense that he has. Now, with that said, Kirk Cousins, Darius Slay is not on the Vikings. He is not a Vikings receiver. Should not have gotten more targets than Justin Jefferson did that entire game. He should have had 7 picks.
So, fun fact tonight, Darius Slay had more catches than Jalen Rieger last night.
He had more catches than Adam Thielen, I think, by the end of it.
Did he? Okay. While we're on Adam Thielen, okay. Now, I'm no offensive genius, but like when you have Justin Jefferson on your team, I feel like Adam Thielen should be the biggest benefiter of having Justin Jefferson on the team.
He should be. But also, I'm just thinking about this right now. Okay,
like Adam Thielen, I gotta get
this
dead to Kevin.
I gotta get this out right now. I gotta get this out right now. Week 1, you're running Justin Jefferson all over the field. He's playing slot. He's playing X. He's playing Y. He's playing Z. I know they're slot. That's slot. But anyways, he's playing all 3 positions, and they're playing him in the backfield, tandem to Cook. I did not see him in the backfield once this game. I did not see him playing all over the field once this game. He basically was stuck on the outside. He never really moved around like he did last week. Why that's the case, I don't understand, because clearly that worked very well. Clearly playing him in the backfield last week and having him run routes out of the backfield was very productive. And the reason why they didn't do that, I don't understand. With that said, too, you know that Thielen's going to, or you know that Jefferson's going to get the number 1 corner in Slay. So why you're not targeting Thielen more, or why you're not targeting KJ Osborne more, I don't really understand. Irv Smith Jr. should never be getting 10 targets a game, especially not in a game where he just dropped an easy walk-in 63-yard touchdown pass.
Yeah, that like I'll be honest, like Irv Smith, oh my God, dude. Like, yeah, he had that first touchdown for the Vikings, but like
that 63-yard broken coverage. I tweeted this. That is not only a game-changing play, but it is a game-saving play. Instead of being down 7-21, giving them the ball back, you're now 14-20 to 21 with a chance to go to tie the game going into half instead of eliminate a field goal.
No, yeah. I mean, bad things all around. Hate to see it. Yeah, just bad things. But okay. But you got any last comments of that game, or do you want to put that behind us and preview the Lions?
I got 1 to 2 more things. First thing, I know homecoming game for Jalen Rieger. Obviously, the crowd did not love him. But after watching what he did on offense, when he actually played on offense, not kick returning, it's kind of obvious that the Eagles mismanaged the way that he's supposed to be used, in the same way that the Vikings mismanaged Cordero Patterson. Jalen Rieger is a very fast player. He's a very speedy player, and he's a utility player. You should be using Jalen Rieger the same way that the 49ers use Deebo Samuel. Play him out of the backfield, run sweeps, run him out of the backfield. I'm not sure if
they trust him to carry the ball.
But he is the same kind of player. That's the kind of player he is. I'm not saying that that's what they will do.
I don't know, man. I don't know if there's a receiver in the NFL who has the balls to run inside zone like Deebo does.
That's the same thing, though, that Cordell Patterson does, and that's the way that the Vikings misused him. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same. I'm not saying inside zone, but I'm saying use him on sweep, use him on utility. Patterson. But use him the same way that you use Percy Harvin. That's what the Vikings.
So you're telling me you think that this guy's Curtis Samuel, because Curtis Samuel is doing that role right now.
I'm saying we haven't
sweeps, quick passes, screens.
We haven't seen
stretches.
We haven't
Curtis
seen
Samuel.
We haven't seen enough film of him actually doing that to state that that's
I think
what would happen.
Can't do it.
But I think that
Like,
after watching the usage that he had at least last game, because that's the way that they used him, I think that that's the role in which that he could play and make.
I just think he's not trusted as a ball carrier.
No, I don't think he is either. But I think that if he builds up
Well,
that
then you can't run
criteria,
sweeps to him and shit.
but I'm saying if he builds up that criteria, it's a new team, new development system, new coaches. You can't say
No, but I'm saying like you
but-
kind of have to build up that
yeah,
like
I understand.
my
that,
example
but-
is Curtis Samuel again. Like at Ohio State, Curtis Samuel would run the fucking football. Like,
yes,
he
no,
has that
I
experience.
understand that. But
I don't
I'm
know
saying,
if Jalen
I'm saying,
Rieger was ever
I'm saying
tasked with that.
he is. I think that's kind of what he did at TCU though.
I have no idea.
Look. But what I am saying is, allow him to build up his. Allow him to build trust with the current receiver coach, with the current with the current coaching staff. I think that no matter what team he is on, if it's the Vikings, if it's somebody else, but specifically if the Vikings, the proper way to use him by the way that he's built, by the way that he plays, is to play him like a Curtis Samuel, like a Percy Harvin, like a Debo Samuel. That's the way that he plays.
We'll see if he could be that effective. I mean, to be honest, I like KJ Osborne a lot. So
I do too. I'm not saying to take
Rieger.
I love KJ Osborne. I'm not saying to
no.
Move
this
him
isn't
above
on KJ Osborne, but I'm just saying like I don't really know why they got Rieger. So I do understand what you're saying. Like if you're gonna get a guy like Rieger, you might as well have him do some type of role like that. But I mean at wide receiver, KJ Osborne starter.
Yeah. No, and I mean he's going to be the fourth fifth string no matter what.
But
he's going to be the fourth fifth string no matter what. But I'm saying if you're looking for those easy yards and explosive play, put him in, run him like Percy Harvin or like Curtis Samuel, see what you can get out of it because you're more likely to get something out of that using him like that than using him a different way.
I mean, sure, but I'll be honest, Everett. Like you don't get you don't just give the ball to people on jet sweeps. Just get
no, I know that, but what I will say is watching the game last night,
I have a feeling that he's not trusted.
No, I don't think so either. But watching the game last night, the couple of snaps he did get, that's kind of the usage that he got, and it was very, very productive. So I'm just saying that. My one other thing for the Vikings, shout out to the special teams. People have stated, especially because the last game was kind of a shit show. And a dumpster fire. Ryan Wright has been the bright spot for this team over the last 2 weeks. And normally it kind of sucks to say that your punter has been the bright spot of your team, but Ryan Wright, Tulane alum.
Hey, field position matters. Big Ten football. Don't forget.
Ryan Wright, Tulane alum, our punter last year. Shout out to my boy. Roll fucking wave.
Okay. All right. We spent a lot of time talking about that. So we're going to do a brief Lions Vikings preview. Okay, Everett. I want your quick reaction. How do you feel that the Vikings are 6-point favorites against the Lions?
Look,
I think that's a lot.
I
think that's pretty generous towards the Vikings, in my opinion.
I think that the Vikings should be underdogs. And that sucks to say.
Whoa, underdogs.
You can't
home dogs.
You can't one beating the Packers, right? We beat the Packers. People are going to say, well, they have Elton Jenkins is out.
I think
Bakhtiari
Minnesota also gets a big boost at home. I think
Lazard
they get a big
Minnesota. No, we have we have the best fan base in the entirety of the NFL. We have one of the if not the best stadium in the NFL with fans.
The Chargers, SoFi is the best stadium. I'm not saying we have the best fans, but stadium is awesome.
But
okay, chill.
Here's the deal.
Fans,
if this was neutral ground, if this was neutral ground, the Lions should be favored. And I say that because of the explosive. They've scored the most points in the NFL over the first 2 weeks.
I've been shocked.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, it's been absolutely dirty.
We're seeing DeAndre Swift preseason that Lions offense.
Swift
hasn't played yet.
DeAndre Swift is gross. Now the Vikings secondary is pretty boots. They're pretty bad. If Patrick Peterson's shadowing Amon-Ra, put him up for 200 because Patrick Peterson cannot guard unless he's in the slot. So with that said, that's why I think that technically speaking, the Lions should be favored. Like if it's a pick 'em, the Lions right now, looking in the game on paper, look like they are going to do better just because of how abysmal the Vikings were last week. Now, however,
I have a
obviously I'm a
feeling a lot
Vikings
of
fan.
people are going to be on Lions +6, and I
That's
feel
what
like
I
this is a
think too.
trap game, and I feel like
I
Vikings are
think
going
the
to cover
Vikings.
this.
I think the Vikings are gonna. I think the
They're
Vikings are
so
gonna
gonna
come back.
cover.
It was a terrible week. It was a humbling experience. Still a first year head coach, first year system for the defense. You're going into Philadelphia, where the fans are absolutely fucking assholes, and I hate them.
Oh my god! Okay. I have a question for you, but
Yeah. So you're going into enemy territory, playing one of the most hostile environments the NFL has to offer. It's a humbling experience, and I think that they take that to advantage, understand that they need to get back on track, and the best way to do it is show the NFC North who the fuck is who's daddy, and it's the Minnesota Vikings.
okay. I have one question for you now that you brought up Kevin O'Connell. Pre-game, I saw they had like a close-up image of Kevin O'Connell on the sidelines walking around, and I got a real close-up look of him. Got to see a solid 8 seconds of some genuine Kevin O'Connell, just human interactions. And my one takeaway is he has too much of a nice guy, cool uncle face to win a Super Bowl. He can't be a head coach. As an offensive coordinator, you could have a cool, fun, nice guy as coordinator, but head coach, I pray he has a D coordinator that lays down the hammer or someone, because I know that Kevin O'Connell is not going up to Kirk Cousins saying, you motherfucker better fucking listen to everything I say. I doubt it.
I'd like
doubt
you to look up the Vikings coaching staff and look up Ed Donatel for me. Just do me that favor. That's their D coordinator. Yes,
does this guy bring the heat?
Just take a look at him and you'll get your answer.
From Akron, Ohio. I would assume he looks pretty tough. So now I would assume that is the guy that's the guy who pumps up the boys. Because I know Kevin O'Connell is not hyping up the boys on the sidelines.
No, Kevin O'Connell is. He is hyping up the
Mr. Nice Guy can't hype the boys up. There's no way Justin Jefferson's looking at Kirk and being like, yeah, or Kevin O'Connell like, fuck yeah, let's go in.
Here's the one thing, though. You forget Kevin O'Connell plays.
It's got to be this guy, Ed Donatel. That guy, not Kevin O'Connell.
Kevin O'Connell played in the NFL, man. He knows what he knows how to hype up.
He looks like your cousin who bought you alcohol for the first time in your life. Like, that's what he looks like the cool relative. That's literally what he looks like. I just don't see it. I don't see it.
Look, he does.
I don't see that.
He does give off the nice guy. He does give off the nice guy impression.
Like, Sean McVay's a bit of a firecracker. Like, if you piss him off, he'll chew your ass out.
I guess we're in the same boat then. You got Brandon Staley over there.
Oh yeah, Brandon Staley. I don't think I don't think he has that edge to put this team over the hump. I'll be honest. I saw these close-up. It was like the sideline mic'd up, and it was my fucking guy, my fucking coach, Staley, is going up to Khalil Mack like, you got to pump up the guys. The head coach should never be saying that. You should never have to ask a player to pump up the team. No, you should be able to fucking command respect and pump up the team yourself.
Here's also the one thing about the Vikings. Mike Zimmer,
like, that concerns me, because I don't really think the Chargers have a true, like, Khalil Mack. Maybe he's that alpha leader, but I know Joey's not.
Herbert,
dude, Herbert like eats by himself every day. Like, no, he's the opposite.
You know who it is? It
might be Keenan Allen.
Derwin James.
It could be.
It's Derwin.
It probably is. It's like Derwin, Khalil on D. Like, the defense stepped up a lot. Like, people are gonna shit on the Chargers defense last week, but I mean, it's fucking Mahomes. What are you gonna do? Well, the Chargers defense stepped up. It's the O line.
Why do I feel like offense is like, probably like
with a bad O line, it's fucked.
Offense, it's probably like Josh Palmer, J.C. Jackson.
Wait, what about Josh Palmer and JC Jackson? What?
Josh, it's not JC Jackson, but Josh Palmer is probably the hype of guy in offense. Why do I feel like it's Josh Palmer?
Oh, actually 100%. I could see that.
It's probably
Josh
Josh
1,000%.
Yeah.
The third string receiver.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's hyping the
That's
boys
your
up.
guy.
KJ Osborne's, well, yeah, I could see KJ Osborne being more vocal than Jay Jetta's. And I could see KJ Osborne just being a clown. And I could see Jay Jetta's at this point at least being like, yeah, I'm pretty fucking good. I don't really care about banter anymore. And like,
No,
I could see him being like that.
He banters. He's my
with Phelan, he does.
No, he banters in general. He banters in general. No, but
okay,
but I mean,
we got to move on to some other games. We've been taking a long time. Okay, one game I have everything focused on that I really want to pay attention to: Bills at Dolphins. Everett. Bills 5.5-point favorites in Miami.
Look.
Okay, I want to say Tua's a lot better. At least with this system, he's performing way better than I thought he would.
He still has some Tim Tebow throws sometimes.
Now there were multiple throws where I'll be honest, I did see a number like at least 3 to 4 throws where they're deep balls and it's underthrown, but Tyreek still catches it because he still burns the guy so hard. So like Tua, like it's working. So I'm not going to shit on him.
Tua has a noodle arm, but it works.
So this is another thing. I'm no quarterback whisperer. I'm no quarterback guru, but I saw an inverted image of Tua throwing. So inverted camera, so it looks like he's a
right-handed. Yeah.
And it's a lot easier to like really like think or like look at how they're throwing when it's right-handed because you just seen it
innately
so many times.
Understand it, yeah.
Yeah. And like the one thing I really notice is when he throws his forward foot. So, well, I mean, he's a lefty, so it's his right foot forward. His forward foot, it doesn't go directly where he's throwing. It goes like outwards at an angle. And it like, once again, I'm no quarterback whisperer, but it just seems to me like he's not really stepping into his throws. And actually his throws are all arm. Like he's only using his arm. Like he's not using his legs at all. That's what it kind of looks like to me. And like, I don't know, like I actually kind of think if Tua, Dan Marino, you are a GOAT. Can you teach him how to proper mechanics? Because I think Tua could sling it. I think he just has wrong mechanics. That's limiting him.
So reiterate that in a simplified fashion.
Okay.
So we can clip that.
In my opinion, Tua has a very strong arm, but he doesn't have good throwing mechanics, and that's why the ball looks a little flat. I think actually he shouldn't be able to throw the ball that far, but his arm is strong enough to get it there. But I think I don't know who it was. Was it Lane Kiffin? Was he the OC at Alabama at the time? Was it him? Was it Bill O'Brien? Like, was it Sark? Maybe Sark. I don't know. In my opinion, it looks like Tua doesn't have proper throwing mechanics. It looks like he's not stepping into his throws. His right foot, like his forward foot, is not going where he's throwing. It's angled outwards. It looks like he doesn't have full momentum in his throws. That's just kind of what I think. But like, hey, even then, Tyreek and Waddle like combined for
all right
350 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Let me give my opinion here on this game, on the Bills-Dolphins game.
Oh, with that being said, Bills. But like Dolphins, I'm very I'm respecting them. Like,
I am buying.
Even if they lose this game, I'm not saying they suck. Like,
no, I'm not either. I am buying Dolphin stock. I'm buying Dolphin stock, but I'm shorting it right now because I know they're going to lose to the Bills. I'm shorting Dolphin stock, and then I'm going to rebuy it after they lose. So, look, it's in Miami. Obviously, I know Miami's a hard place to play in September. It's really hot. It's hot on the field. It's sunny. You don't want to be there. It's gross. But
yeah, if anything, winter Miami's probably the greatest
really nice
game ever.
Yeah,
December Miami.
Oh, you probably want to travel,
especially if you're like the Patriots or Buffalo or Jets, and you're oh my. Okay,
look,
anyway, go on.
Look, Bills It's an in-conference game. They've seen Tyreek before. They saw him last year in the playoffs. They were able to. They kind of know how he plays. Obviously, now there's Jalen Waddle you got to worry about. But I just think that if you're looking at it, the Dolphins come behind victory last week. The Bills aren't really going to let you get that same. They're not going to let you get away with the same stuff the Ravens got away with. The Bills offense, the Bills offense is way more prolific than the Ravens offense. Stephon Diggs, I'm sorry, Xavier Howard, it's not happening, buddy. You can go quit right now. But
and Gabe Davis should be good for that game too.
Yeah, and look, so I mean, it's a lot more prolific. Josh Allen. He's sneaky, man. He can like
Josh Allen runs. Is kind of showing.
He's like Leonard Fournette, dude. He invites contact. He wants contact.
That's also a bit of a concern for me because hey,
as a quarterback, obviously that's concerning that you want contact. But like if he is actively seeking out contact, if you're a defensive player. I don't know, but that's
you love to see it temporarily. That's a little scary. You love to see it temporarily.
So here's the thing. Also keep in mind. Interconference game. It's Mike McDaniel, first-year head coach. I just can't see a way in which it's just going to work out and where the first-year head coach gets this dub, knocks off the Bills, who's a Super Bowl favorite.
If they're going to get it, though, more likely at home than away, but is the NFL.
Especially home than away. Because
it would kind of be funny if it was flipped and then the Dolphins beat them.
They will be playing in the middle of winter in Buffalo.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting then. But, yeah, I mean, hey, because Dolphins – I'd take Dolphins spread, but Bills points. Or Dolphins spread, Bills money line. Mess that up. I'm no better. That's why I don't know those terms. Okay. I'm gonna take a quick piss break. Really impromptu time. We're gonna finish up the episode in like 20 minutes. But
okay.
Yeah.
I'll give my
you can do a quick preview. You know what? Why don't you actually start on the Packers, Bucks, or Rams, Cardinals?
I am gonna do the Jaguars, Chargers.
Oh, pick neither of them. All right, nice.
All right. So for Grant's game for the Jaguars and Chargers, the Jaguars have been sneaky good this year. And I know that Trevor Lawrence, second-year quarterback, still has made some mistakes here and there. Obviously, Doug Peterson coming back to coach. Grant will not agree with this because Grant loves Urban Meyer, but Urban Meyer was not the coach for Trevor Lawrence. Doug Peterson kind of steps into that role, that necessary role. Christian Kirk has had a lot of volume, a lot of targets. That's what you like to see by paying that amount of money to him. Big surprise, big fantasy pickup, by the way. So the outlook is the Jaguars could be, I don't know what the cover is for this game, but the Jaguars could be sneaky good and make it a closely contested game. I personally think the Chargers are going to win, but the big thing is, will Justin Herbert be okay? Because obviously he's dealing with a cartilage, I think rib fracture, something like that, rib tear. And obviously he was in a lot of pain. So if he comes back and he's not 100%, are we going to see a different kind of offense? Are we going to see a stagnant offense? Are they still going to try to do the same thing, but it's not going to work out as well? Is he going to be the same? Is he going to be better? Will the Chargers doctor puncture his lung? Who knows? But I still think that the Chargers will win this game. I think that if Chase Daniels has to come in, I've seen him do it before and he's won. It's not an ideal, but it is possible. If Chase Daniels come in, then it's a little bit of a different situation. If Chase Daniels comes in, I'm going to say the Jaguars will win this game. Outside of that, Chargers taking it, I think it's going to be a closer game than most people think. So don't be surprised if the Jaguars come back and make it a one-possession game and the game ends final drive and the fourth quarter to take the lead. The bigger thing is if Keenan Allen will be back or not as well. People forget that he was injured last week. So you'll have to see. JC Jackson might not be 100%. And you're back.
All right, which game you just went over?
Chargers game.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So Chargers Jags. I'll be honest. Of course, I'm picking Chargers again to win this week. But I'm gonna be honest. I'm very concerned about this game. These Jags this year. These Jags are different from those Jags last year. These Jags are way different from those Jags last year. And I kind of have a feeling this year that some of the bottom tier teams last year, like Texans, like the Jags, these AFC South teams, I have a feeling they might do a little bit better this year than we thought. And kind of the Lions too. I kind of have a feeling that the only really shitty team last year that will remain shitty, or the two teams that will be the Jets and the Bears.
Now, shout out to the Jets, though.
Until
Zach Wilson gets back, they have a fighting chance. When Zach Wilson comes back, the season's done.
No, like I wouldn't be surprised if they go like 2-2, and then Zach Wilson comes in, and then they go 0-13.
If that happens, yeah. Robert Saleh has to get a new quarter. Like he has to know that it's.
I mean, Zach Wilson sucks ass, but greatest thing to happen in Garrett's career. But I'll be honest, I am concerned about this game. The Jaguars. These Jags, once again, are.
This is what I said. Than those Jags. This is what I said, and I don't know if you agree with me. Herbert being hurt makes this a hell. I mean, I thought it was going to be a close game, but this makes it a hell of a lot harder to choose the Chargers.
If Chase Daniels is starting, the Jags are going to win.
Now, here's winning. Also the thing. You don't know if Herbert starts, you don't know what kind of player you're getting. He could be terrible. He could be good. He could be playing with a punctured lung if their doctor decides to treat him before the game. You don't know. I mean, look.
Hey, that team doctor did that for Herbert, okay?
If Chase Daniels plays, I've seen him win before, but with the way the Jaguars are playing, I don't know if the Chargers are going to get squeaked that one out. The other thing is, Keenan Allen going to be back this week?
Definitely not.
And is J.C. Jackson going to be playing 100% this week?
Well, J.C. Jackson will be fine. I mean, like last week he did get torched by literally a guy I'd never heard in my life. But regardless, I expect like he'll be fine. Like it's the Herbert injury. I know he'll play next week, but he might be shit for the next 4 weeks.
Then the question becomes,
like last week when he threw away, it was a 7-yard one, and he had a first down, and he threw the ball away with 8 free yards ahead of him. I've never seen that in my life. I've never seen that in my life.
One of the more.
And then the next play he throws like a fucking touchdown.
It's one of the more. It's one of the more nagging and painful injuries. So the question is, if you're the Chargers, are you letting Herbert rest for like the next week or two and just taking your chances and letting him be healthy for the rest of the season?
I mean, to be honest, like you kind of have to play him. Because if they don't play him next week, like if he's not starting, like they'll lose every game that he doesn't start.
Literally yeah, but also,
and I'm more concerned long-term health. I'm like, yeah, this year, like,
look, they play the Chargers this week. I mean, if you're playing the Jaguars this week, and with potential, I don't know what the teams the rest of the way are, but at least this week, if you're playing the Jaguars, I'd give him the week to rest.
The end of the schedule is very, very tough, and Herbert needs to be 100% for the back end. And I would strongly debate. They have an easier first half stretch.
I would strongly debate resting Herbert this week.
I'm not fully against it, but I also understand if they play him.
No, I do too. I just don't. If he plays poorly and he gets
but I'm saying worse. I don't expect Herbert to be playing well for the next week or two.
Also, it's the same injury.
And also without Keenan Allen, that's his blanket on third down. That's where he goes. That's his go-to guy.
It's the same injury that Alvin Kamara has, and Alvin Kamara sat out this past week.
Yeah, so like, I mean, from what I saw in the second half of the game, it didn't affect his throwing, but it clearly affected his decision making when he threw that ball away with a free first down. So that's,
I mean, I think he's also concerned about. I think he's also scared to get hit. That's why he didn't run with it. That was the big thing.
Kind of a pussy, not gonna lie.
All right, let's run.
He does look a little afraid back there.
Let's run through just our winners for the week. Grant once again took last week. Same exact records, back-to-back weeks, by the way. Grant going.
If anything, we are very consistent.
We're very consistent. Grant going 8-8. I'm going 7-9. both of us, you're at 500. I'm basically right about 500. Obviously, you still have the league, but very consistent, very even at picking on the Waterboy podcast here.
Yeah, you're going to give all your picks first. That's how this works.
All right. Loser gives picks first. Here are my picks for the week. Just a quick rundown of the games. Steelers, Browns, Lions, oh my God, aneurysm. Lions, Vikings, Ravens, Patriots, Saints, Panthers, Texans, Bears, Chiefs, Colts, Eagles, Commies, Bills, Dolphins, Bengals, Jets, Raiders, Titans, Jaguars, Chargers, Falcons, Seahawks, Rams, Cardinals, Packers, Bucks, 49ers, Broncos, and Cowboys, Giants. Here are my winners for the week. Browns, Vikings, Ravens, Saints, Texans, Chiefs, Eagles, Bills, Bengals, Raiders, Chargers, Falcons, Rams, Bucks, 49ers, Giants.
So we have eerily similar picks. And so I said earlier, Bills no matter what, that was cap. I actually picked the Dolphins, so I'm sticking with that. I got Browns, Vikings, Ravens, Saints. Even though that Saints-Panthers game, I don't know who's winning, but I'm going with the Saints. Fuck that one. I'd stay away. Texans, Chiefs, Eagles, Fins up. Bengals, Raiders, Chargers, Falcons, Cardinals, Bucks, Niners,
You're
Giants.
taking Cardinals at home. Kyler Murray, Call of Duty beta weekend.
I mean, they won last week.
At home, Call of Duty beta weekend. Keywords at home.
We also went over this. Kyler plays Warzone. He doesn't care about multiplayer beta. We went over this. We really deep dive. And me and you would know a little bit more about truly the Call of Duty beta than the average
That's a fair point.
Sports analyst. I wouldn't be surprised if Kyler wasn't even aware that the beta was occurring until the internet
All I'm
told
saying
him,
is
you're not going to play well this week because the beta's out. I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised.
Yes, the Cardinals came back and beat the Raiders, but they had to do a comeback. So what if the reason they came back was because Cliff Kingsbury threatened to take away Kyler Murray's access to Call of Duty this week?
He told him, I'm going to take away your controller, Kyler. Like his fucking mom. I'm going to take away your controller if you don't do your homework of watching film. Okay?
And they came back and won because Kyler wants to play the beta.
I'm going to be honest, though. Like, all those Kyler memes, fun and all, if that didn't become a public thing, then I think it would have actually impacted him. But because it's a public thing,
he's now trying.
I don't think it matters. But last year, I should have paid attention to that shit way more. Because I was always like, damn, why does he suck second half? And yes, Cliff also, he has a downwards trend, but Call of Duty 100%. Warzone 1000%. Like, Kyler Murray was having an MVP season, and then Warzone was released.
When does Call of Duty come out? Just out of curiosity, when does it come out?
I either late October, early November.
I think can you look it up? Can you look it up right now? I'm trying to stat check something. Because
I'm not sure how great this content will be, but hopefully you have an amazing takeaway at the end of this.
I'm just curious. All right. So we all know that Cliff Kingsbury kind of falls apart in the end of the season, right? Call of Duty comes out
October 28th, 2022.
All right. Call of Duty comes out late October. Opening weekend for Call of Duty, including the new Warzone 2, comes out 2 days before the Cardinals game against the Vikings. Sunday, October 30th, 12 p.m. The next game is at home for the Cardinals. They have a whole week. Another Rams game. Multiple at-home games for the Cardinals after that. Just saying.
I just want to say, though, Everett, it is early season Cardinals, and it is a division game, and it's in Arizona.
Oh, no, I know.
All the indicators are pointing me towards Arizona.
Just saying.
So that's why I picked
week 8 and beyond. Call of Duty.
I know. I'm aware.
Call of Duty releases exactly on week 8 this year, which is the exact same cutoff for Cliff Kingsbury and when Cliff Kingsbury comes a downward spiral. So,
okay, on second glance, I'm just re-looking at my picks. I can almost guarantee right now, like the one thing, the Patriots are just going to beat the Ravens this weekend. That's going to be just the what the fuck upset. I'm not saying it'll be something like that. It'll be something like that. It could be Bears. I think if the Bears beat the Texans, that'd be an upset.
Also, are we both saying we're both saying the Titans are going to start 0-3?
Yeah. Either them or the Raiders are. I'd rather it be the Raiders, but there's like the Raiders have looked. I mean, their defense is shaky, but I like the offense a lot, and I like they're a frisky team. They'll always be in the game. Like
I think
the Raiders will never be an easy win. Like they're never an easy win on anyone's schedule. You get what I mean?
No, I got you.
Like I'm not saying they're gonna win anything, but like that's a frisky team. You gotta look out for them.
Alrighty. Well, with that, I think that wraps up the episode. Thank you guys.
Yeah, episode 50.
Half a century. Half a century. With that, make sure to like, subscribe, rate us 5 stars on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever you're using to listen to us. Make sure that you take us on the airlines with you, play it over the loudspeaker, the PA system on Delta. We want to become their podcast system.
We want to fly high in the sky with you guys.
It's not weird at all. Yeah.
I thought that was a nice little
jingle. No, it was pretty clean.
Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe, rate us 5 stars, download the podcast, listen to it over and over and over again. 50 episodes in, halfway to 100. Been making a lot of progress. I'll be honest. If you were gonna tell me when we started this, we'd have 50 episodes by week 3 of NFL, I would have said
and be the number 2 podcast on Spotify.
But we did both. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching.
Waterboys out.